Hi guys, I just wanted to do a little intro video on myself because starting up this YouTube channel, I want you guys to know who I am and what's my background and why am I qualified to give you advice. So my name is Kelly. I live in Illinois, kind of the Chicagoland area. After high school, so I'm 22. Let's start at the beginning. I'm 22. I just turned 22 a couple days ago. Yay. And after high school, I went to college for a year and did terrible. Everything went wrong that could have went wrong. I wasn't learning, I wasn't focused, I wasn't motivated at all. And I was kind of just lost. At the time I was really struggling with a lot of personal things. I was super depressed and school just wasn't going well for me. I had never been an A student, more like a C underachiever, which is fine. So school wasn't going well and I ended up dropping out after a year, and that summer I was kind of feeling really lost. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life or what my passion was, what I wanted to be, who I wanted to be, really. And I took an internship that I hated. It was just sitting in an office all day doing the same thing over and over and over, and that really bored me and scared me off of wanting to work in an office. So luckily, kind of on a whim, I toured a cosmetology school. The first one I toured was a Mario Chikoshi school. I really liked it, but it didn't seem exactly right for me. And in the mall near my house, I had seen a Paul Mitchell school being built, which was cool because it was completed, I think, in July of 2013. So I went in there and I took a tour and I fell in love with it. It was amazing. There were so many clubs that you could join and so many ways that they just wanted to make sure you would succeed once you enrolled, that I was like, yes, this is an easy decision, the easiest one I've ever had to make. I want to go here. I want this program. I want the name too. Very well-respected cosmetology school name. Like, Paul Mitchell is a huge player in the industry, and it really helps you to make connections across the country because it is a national school kind of chain. Chain sounds wrong, but that's kind of what it is. So I fell in love with it, and I talked to my parents. I said, hey, listen, I really want to do this. I know that college didn't work out, and that was hard for all of us, but I really want to do this. I'm super motivated. Like, I'll take out the loans in my name, whatever I need to do to start going there. So I enrolled. Luckily, they supported me and they wanted me to get more education. So I enrolled. I started in November of 2013. I think that's correct. And the program was a year long-ish. It's more like 11 months, but depending on what happens in your time there, it can be a little bit longer. And there is also a night school program, which I think is 16 months. I could be wrong, but it's something around there. So I enrolled. I met a bunch of awesome people, and I learned so much about hair, makeup, skin, nails, anything you could ever want to learn, because before I started, I was absolutely clueless. I had no idea anything what I talk about. I couldn't even braid my own hair when I started cosmetology school. So obviously I learned how to do that. I learned how to do a ton of other things that are too complicated to explain in this video, but I'll be happy to answer any questions that any of you guys have. And really, it was just an awesome time in my life for learning who I am as a person and what I'm passionate about, which is the beauty industry. I love it so much. I met so many interesting and cool and smart people, primarily women, but the men that we did have in our school were awesome, and they're really inspirational to me too. So I still have a lot of good friends that I met in school there, and I feel totally comfortable with all of them, and I love going back there to visit and talk about things because I kind of turned into a dork. I was in every club that you could be in. We didn't have all the Paul Mitchell. Sorry, I have hair in my eye. Whew. We didn't have all the Paul Mitchell clubs at that particular school when I was there because we were kind of newer, so we were still getting started, and you needed a learning leader. That's what they call the teachers. You needed a learning leader to sponsor your club and keep track of everything. So it was kind of hard. Like, there were some clubs that we didn't have, like the pet club that didn't get started when I was there, but everything else, not everything else, but most of the things were already started. So anyways, I was in all these clubs and I learned all about Paul Mitchell products, and I actually was in the product knowledge club, which you learned about the products that Paul Mitchell had because we did have like a retail area in the front of the school connected to the salon. So you had like retail goals to sell products to your guests after you perform services on them. So we did get to learn all about those and then teach the newer students. We would have a product knowledge class and say, okay, let's learn about all the extra body products. So you'd prepare beforehand, make a little like poster and ask them questions about everything and just go in there and help them learn about these products so they can sell them easier to their guests. And a big part of that was really important to me because I knew that the majority of the people in school would be going to a salon after they graduated, which is totally normal. And they would need that product knowledge, even if it wasn't Paul Mitchell products at their salon. They would need to know how to learn about products and how to talk to their guests about them. So that was really important to me because it's such a huge skill to have, and that's a large part of a stylist's income is the retail, because most stylists work on commission at a salon, and they'll get 40, 45, 50, whatever percent of each service. They'll take home, let's say, half of that. So if you're doing like a haircut and let's say it's $40, you get 20 from that. But typically if you sell them retail, you'll get like 15% of that, I think is what they usually do, 10 to 15%. And they'll typically do that, take that, add it into a monthly check instead of like a bi-weekly or however they do the normal pay. Add it into a monthly check. I knew a couple salons that did, once a year, around like the winter, Christmas time, they would do just one huge retail bonus, which was really cool because you're not thinking about that money, and then all of a sudden you've got $900 in your pocket that you've been earning over the past year. It's really cool. So if you can sell that and add to your income that way, it's a huge, huge way to just keep yourself going. And especially when you're starting out, even if you have less clients, if you're able to sell them retail also, it just really makes up that extra income that you're lacking from not having that many clients. So, off on my tangent, I really loved school there. So I heard a weird noise, so I had to go check it out. So sorry for the interruption. I really loved my time at Paul Mitchell and all the people I met there and the huge amount of inspiration I got from the story of Paul Mitchell. I was able to go on an educational trip to a conference. It's not really a conference, but it was more just like educational classes in Las Vegas for Paul Mitchell, which was really, really fun and inspirational and awesome. So after I graduated, I had been working at one salon and I switched to another one with a woman who had worked at the school, and I knew her and she was really sweet and wonderful. And I was hired at her salon, and I switched over because the other salon wasn't working out. It just wasn't the right attitude for me. So I switched over to this really beautiful, brand new salon with this woman that I really adored, loved working with. But after a couple months of working there, I had been running all of the social media accounts for the salon, which was really fun. I really enjoyed doing that, and that's part of the reason why I left the salon. I found that working day to day behind the chair with clients wasn't really what suited my personality. I was able to do it, but I wasn't really motivated to keep going like that and to keep getting new clients and bringing them in, just because I really preferred doing haircuts over hair color, but hair color is really where the good income is. So there was kind of a conflict, an internal conflict with me, where I wasn't feeling satisfied and she wasn't happy with the amount of clients that I was bringing in, and we kind of like had a mutual breakup. So I went in and I talked to her, and we just were really honest with each other, and I said, this isn't feeling right for me, and I know it's not feeling right for you either, so I'm gonna move on and find what makes my heart happy. So I did, and she said, we're thinking the exact same thing. How awesome is it that that happened? We are both on the same page, and this is so rare. So I ended up leaving that salon on really good terms, and I would recommend it to anyone. It wasn't a problem with the salon at all, and I've loved watching them grow since then and become more and more successful every day that I've been watching them. So it's really cool. So I moved on from that, and I worked at a gym for a while just because I needed income, and luckily my parents have been letting me live at home, which is great because otherwise I would be out on the street homeless. So since then, again, I lost my direction, and I didn't know, like, what do I want to do? Do I want to work in a different salon? Do I want to write? What is my passion? What do I want my life to look like? And just recently, I've discovered that a combination of writing about beauty, talking about beauty, and giving advice about the beauty industry is my trifecta. That's my strong suit. That's what I love to do. That's what I'm good at. So I'm embracing that and kind of going with it, and hoping that my passion and the knowledge that I've gained from other people will help me be successful in doing this. So that's kind of my background. I know that was super long, but it's just kind of an introduction to who I am and why I'm doing what I'm doing right now. So I am able to answer, I think, a lot of questions, and I do have access to a few like professional groups of people that if I don't know the answer, I know someone who knows the answer. So if you guys have any questions that you want me to answer about hair, makeup, skincare, nails, whatever, my education was primarily about hair, but we did get a good breadth of other information, and I did a lot of research on my own. Like right now, this camera is stacked on top of my cosmetology books. So again, if you guys have any questions, I would love to answer them. I really just want to engage with you and interact, and I want this to be a mutually beneficial experience for both of us. So thanks for watching.